Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwapad Brahmamsa Parivajagacharya Astottara Shata Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jaya Vishwapad Brahmamsa Parivajagacharya Astottara Shata Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 16, starting a new chapter. Lord Parashuram destroys the world's ruling class. So I read the summary first and then we repeat the first. We chant the verse together. So this is the chapter summary. When Jamadagni was killed by the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna, as described in this chapter, Parshuram rid the entire world of Kshatriyas 21 times. This chapter also describes the descendants of Vishwamitra. When Jamadagni's wife Renuka went to bring water from the Ganges and saw the king of the Gandharvas enjoying the company of Apsaras, she was captivated, and she slightly desired to associate with him. Because of this sinful desire, she was punished by her husband. Parshuram killed his mother and brothers, but later, by dint of the austerities of Jamadagni, they were revived. The sons of Kartavirya Arjuna, however, remembering the death of their father, wanted to take revenge against Lord Parshuram, and therefore, when Parshuram was absent from the ashram, they killed Jamadagni, who was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Parshuram returned to the ashram and saw his father killed, he was very sorry, and after asking his brothers to take care of the dead body, he went out with determination to kill all the Kshatriyas on the surface of the world. Taking up his axe, he went to Mahishmatipura, the capital of Kartavirya Arjuna, and killed all of Kartavirya Arjuna's sons, whose blood became a great river. Parshuram, however, was not satisfied with killing only the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna. Later, when the Kshatriyas became disturbing, he killed them 21 times, so that there were no Kshatriyas on the surface of the earth. Thereafter, Parshuram joined the head of his father to the dead body and performed various sacrifices to please the Supreme Lord. Thus, Jamadagni got life again in his body, and later he was promoted to the higher planetary system known as Saptarshi Mandal. Parshuram, the son of Jamadagni, still lives in Mahendra Parvat. In the next Manvantara, he will become a preacher of Vedic knowledge. In the dynasty of Gadhi, the most powerful Vishwamitra took birth. By dint of his austerity and penance, he became a Brahmana. He had 101 sons, who were celebrated as the Madhuchandas. In the sacrificial arena of Harishchandra, the son of Ajigartha, named Sunashepa, was meant to be sacrificed, but by the mercy of the Prajapatis, he was released. Thereafter, he became Devarata in the dynasty of Gadhi. The 50 elder sons of Vishwamitra, however, did not accept Sunashepa as their elder brother, and therefore Vishwamitra cursed them to become Malechas, unfaithful to the Vedic civilization. Vishwamitra's 51st son, along with his younger brothers, then accepted Sunashepa as their eldest brother, and their father Vishwamitra, being satisfied, blessed them. Thus Devarata was accepted in the dynasty of Kaushika, and consequently there are different divisions of that dynasty. And so now we are reading the text 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Pitropashikshito Ramas Tatheti Kurunandana Samvatsaram Tirthayatram Charitva Shramam Avrajat. Shri Shuka Uvacha Pitropashikshito Ramas Tatheti Kurunandana Samvatsaram Tirthayatram Charitva Shramam Avrajat. Shri Shuka Uvacha Pitropashikshito Ramas Tatheti Kurunandana Pitropashikshito Ramas Tatheti Kurunandana Samvatsaram Tirthayatram Charitva Shramam Avrajat. Word to word translation. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Pitra, by his father, Upashikshita, thus advised, Rama, Lord Parshuram, Tatha iti, let it be so. Kurunandana, O son of the Kuru dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, Samvatsaram, for 1 complete year, Tirthayatram, traveling to all the holy places, Charitva, after executing, Ashramam, to his own residence, Avrajat, returned. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, My dear Maharaj Parikshit, son of the Kuru dynasty, when Lord Parashuram was given this order by his father, he immediately agreed, saying, Let it be so. For 1 complete year he traveled to holy places. Then he returned to his father's residence. Since there is no purport, we'll read a few more verses until there is a purport. Text 2. Kadachit Renukayata Gangayam Padmamalinam Gandharvarajam kridantam apsarobhir apashyata. Translation. Once when Renuka, the wife of Jamadagni, went to the bank of the Ganges to get water, she saw the king of the Gandharvas decorated with a garland of lotuses and sporting in the Ganges with celestial women, apsaras. Text 3. Vilokayanti kridantam udakartham nadim gata homavelam nasam sasmara kinchit chitraratha spriha. She had gone to bring water from the Ganges, but when she saw Chitraratha, the king of the Gandharvas, sporting with the celestial girls, she was somewhat inclined toward him and failed to remember that the time for the fire sacrifice was passing. Kalatyayam tam vilokya mune sapa vishankita agatya kalasham tastho purodaya kritanjali. Later, understanding that the time for offering the sacrifice had passed, Renuka feared a curse from her husband. Therefore, when she returned, she simply put the water pot before him and stood there with folded hands. Text 5. Vyabhicharam munir gyatva patnya prakupito bravit gnatainam putraka papam ityuktas tena chakrire. The great sage Jamadagni understood the adultery in the mind of his wife. Therefore, he was very angry and told his sons, "My dear sons, kill this sinful woman." But the sons did not carry out his order. Text 6. Rama sanchodita pitra bhratrin matra sahavadit prabhavagyo mune samyak samades tapasascha sah. Jamadagni then ordered his youngest son Parashuram to kill his brothers who had disobeyed this order and his mother who had mentally committed adultery. Lord Parshuram, knowing the power of his father, who was practiced in meditation and austerity, killed his mother and brothers immediately. Purport. The word prabhavagya is significant. Parshuram knew the prowess of his father, and therefore he agreed to carry out his father's order. He thought that if he refused to carry out the order, he would be cursed. But if he carried it out, his father would be pleased. And when his father was pleased, Parashuram would ask the benediction of having his mother and brothers brought back to life. Parashuram was confident in this regard, and therefore he agreed to kill his mother and brothers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's an interesting verse in translation and purport. This is a continuation of the pastime of Parashuram, and how, due to his revenge, in taking the revenge of Kshatriya, his father was not happy, and he asked him to go and purify himself And so he went around the whole pilgrimage and he came back. And then this pastime occurs. So, according to the modern culture, according to the modern context, this is really not a big deal. Committing adultery in the mind. People commit adultery in the mind, words, body, and it's all considered the self-expression. It's all accepted. If you feel like it, then why to repress yourself? You should just let it come out naturally, and nobody should argue about it. Nobody should judge you for it. It's all individual's expression, and so everything is accepted these days. But we are looking at this culture, the Vedic culture and the Vedic standards, which are so extraordinary that sometimes it feels like it's too far out, and we might feel very disconnected from it because our modern culture represents nothing like it. So, forgetting about committing adultery in terms of the actions or in terms of the words, but even in the mind is not acceptable. And Prabhupada will give the example of his own mother, that every time when she has to go out of the house, even if she has to just go to the neighbor's house, which is right across the street, so she just had to cross the street, she would still have the palanquin, and his mother will be carried in a palanquin with all the four sides closed. So nobody else gets to see her, and in that way the chastity is protected. So of course this is a very unique, it's a very special situation, it's a very special culture, and it's just like when you value something so much, you protect it. So this is the women in the Vedic times, because they're valued so much for their contribution to the society, they're protected so much. And therefore Prabhupada would explain this. But here, in this case, for whatever reason, we see this standard sort of compromised, and it's not acceptable. So Jamadagni, who is a great sage, he asks all his sons to kill the mother, and of course, which son would like to do that? Like in the Bhagavad Gita, we see that Arjuna was hesitant to kill his brothers, his friends, his relatives, but killing the mother, that's considered to be like the most difficult thing. And all the brothers, of course, said, like, look, like all the sons, they said, sorry, we cannot do this. This is too much. So he went around one by one to all the sons, and all of them said, no, we cannot do this. And just then arrived Parshuram, and Jamadagni instructed him that then you must kill, but not only your mother, but also all of your brothers. And imagine the instruction and the service that he has to do, to kill his brothers and kill his mother. That's pretty far out. But King Parshuram, Lord Parshuram, he understands the stature, the caliber of his father, and he understands that his position as a son to serve his father and follow his instruction. So, in the scriptures, we hear the pastime. The king who explains there are four kinds of sons, or the son. What was the son's name? Starts with P. Puru. And he explains how there are four kinds of sons. When his father, who goes to him to exchange for his youth. And he goes to all the sons one by one, and they all give different reasons. One son says, the first son, who is Yadu, yeah, that's right. And Yadu says that, no, I cannot exchange. But his reason was that in my dynasty, Krishna is coming soon. And if I swap this old age for my youth, it's going to mess up the whole timings in the schedule. So I cannot do this. But then, and Prabhupada explains that was the only reason that was spiritual. There was a spiritual reason why he denied the instruction, and that was acceptable. But then when he went to all the other sons said, exchange our youth for old age? Forget it. He said, this is our youth, is a time for enjoyment. We're not going to compromise that. So one by one, he goes to all the three sons, and then finally goes to the fourth son, which is Puru. And the Puru first apologizes. He said, sorry that actually you had to come to me to ask for this exchange. Actually, I should have been intelligent enough to come to you and offer you this straight away, having known your mind. He said, but because I'm so foolish that I did not come to you and I didn't understand your mind. But at least now that you have come to me, he said, I will definitely accept your instruction. So it explains how there are, Prabhupada explains how there are four kinds of sons, or four kinds of students or disciples. The first one is the first class, topmost, is the son or the student who understands the desire of his father and follows the instruction, follows the desire, even without father explaining or asking for it. The son knows the mind and he follows that before he gets asked. That's the topmost. The second class is when he's instructed, he follows with all the enthusiasm and all the desire. The third class is one who gets instructed and he follows, but with a lot of grudge. Why do you ask me? Why do I have to do this? Does he not understand that it's so difficult? Could he not have asked someone else to do that? Why is he asking me all this? So that's like the third class. He still follows, but there's no heart in it. And then there's fourth class who gets instructed but doesn't care and doesn't follow. So these four kinds of sons or disciples or students are there. And so here it's explained how Parshuram, who's happily and enthusiastically straight away following the instruction, and that's considered quite good. So one time, one devotee asked his spiritual master that how can we become first-class students? And the reply was that don't worry about the first class, just try to be second class if you can. In Kali Yuga, second class is pretty good. So at least when you get instructed, at least then you follow the instruction with enthusiasm, without any grudges, without any envy. And so one's faith and one's devotion to Krishna is represented by our commitment to follow the instructions of our Guru and Krishna. And when we get instructed, then it really tests our faith, it tests our devotion for Guru and Krishna, because the instructions are there. And depending on how much we put our heart to committing to those instructions, to that extent we are advanced or fallen. So therefore, in one of the purport where Prabhupada says that when there's an instruction from the spiritual master, the disciple says, "Yes, sir," and he follows the instruction. So, like in one of the devotees was mentioning yesterday that he studied in an army school. And in the army school, he said, when you get told by a senior to do something, you just go and do it first. then you come back and ask question. And I know my parents were quite responsible, and they would always ask me to do the same thing. When they tell me to do something, they said, don't ask, first go and do it. Then you can come and ask. But I know that they were responsible parents, so whatever they're asking was actually good for me and was good for others. So I followed that, and later when I asked them for clarification, they would tell me like why they asked me to do whatever they asked me and how it made sense. So in the same way as devotees, we want to come to that platform of first to listen, and first you follow the instruction, find out what the devotees, what our seniors, what our mentors, what our gurus, they need. We listen to the instruction and we follow without any hesitation. And that's the first thing. And then later we can ask for clarification, then later we can ask for the reason. But in the beginning, first thing, just do it. And by developing this quality, we actually really get out of the mental platform, because we have a lot of mental conceptions of who we think is the right thing to do, who we think is the good thing to do, what's actually good for me, what's actually good for others. And we have all these preconceptions diluted and tinged by all these material desires, identifications, all these limitations by the lower modes, acting in all these different ways, in different combinations. And so we have all these weird, strange conceptions of what is right and good. And when we get told by the seniors, then that throws us off, because our mind doesn't like to agree to that how can that be true? How can that be good? Why is this asking me to keep cleaning the same thing over and over again, keep cleaning the same pot, keep cleaning the same floor? Why does he ask me to just do these simple services over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month? Does he not understand how senior I am? Why is he asking me to do these basic things when actually I'm qualified for more? Why is he asking me to read Prabhupada books? I can be reading so many of these Acharya books, and I can be studying so many different things, So, but then if we just follow the instructions, and then over the time it gets revealed why it's actually good. And so it's really good for our mind to learn to follow the instructions. And Prabhupada gives the credit to the entire Krishna conscious society that how he could develop it is what I just follow the instructions of my spiritual master. He asked me to go to the West and preach. He asked me to write books. And so he just did that. And he just followed this instruction. And even though those instructions were quite simple in some ways, all the great things manifested from that. A lot of time devotees, especially I think the newer devotees, have this desire to want to do like big for Krishna, big for Prabhupada, and they want to do like a lot of these great services, but they're not ready to do simple things to really get purified and really bring mind to a peaceful state. So, and the seniors can obviously see that. Just like one time, there was a girl, young girl, and she liked to play on the phone, in the phone. So, so one time his mother was not feeling well. Her mother was not feeling well, and his father had to go to some service. So this girl said to his father, I said, it's okay, you can go for service. This is like a young girl, like 5 years old. And she said, yeah, it's okay, you can go to service, that's fine, And yeah, mother can take rest. She's not well. It's good that she takes rest. Like I really want to make sure that she's okay. And she's saying all these like good words, and the father can see like, and her eyes are on the phone, And she's just waiting, okay, the father goes there, mother goes there, and I go there. And father can see that, but the child is saying, but yeah, I don't want to play with phone, I'm fine. I just want you to do your service peacefully. I just want mother to take rest. And I'm fine, I'll just wait for you. And father can see that there's an inner desire, there's an inner motivation. And so sometimes when we are talking to our seniors and when we're talking to our gurus, and we say, oh, all I just want to do is just serve. All I want to do is just please you. And the devotees can see that actually there is a lot of inner motivations, there's a lot of inner desires. And it's so clear for them, and it's so duplicitous for us, but it's very clear for them, and we think that, yeah, no, he can't see that, of course, this is so deep, and I'm just acting very nice here. So that's why it's important and it's good that we develop the humility to accept the instructions. And understand what's that we are expected to do, and not so much worry about what I think is actually good for me, what I think is my, devotees a lot of time get carried away by what's my nature, I'm according to Ayurveda I'm this and that, and according to such and such statistics my personality type is this and that, and so therefore my services should be this and that. And I shouldn't be doing this and that because that's not my nature. So I've already clarified, and all the psychologists would agree with me. But these devotees, these seniors who are not so educated in this higher science and psychology, they are engaging me in these activities which is not really good for me. And they will not be able to keep me in Krishna consciousness if they just keep telling me like this. So maybe I should take guidance from someone else. Maybe I should change my mentors. Maybe I should change my ashram. Maybe I should change my temple. Maybe I should change my guru, because they're not ready to understand what I need. And the devotees can clearly see what this devotee is up to and what he actually needs. But at the same time, obviously, they're not going to tell us what we need to do, because we just don't have the humility to accept what is good for us. So they let us do it. One time, one devotee asked Devamita Maharaj that said, I got a problem, and this is what I think is the solution, and I just want your blessings. And Maharaj was, of course, he said, just do what you want, What can I say? And later, of course, he was mentioning, he was making a joke. He said, yeah, Guru Maharaj, he said, please give me the blessings. He said, I think I should be doing this. Please give me your blessings. He said, if you bless me, then I'll be happy, and then I'll be your good disciple, and then I'll give you dakshina. And he said, and he was just joking like that. So it really shows the consciousness of a lot of students or the disciples, which are often not at the highest level, and so therefore sometimes devotees, it's very hard for devotees to actually tell us what we need to do. So here we can see the consciousness of Parshuram. He was ready to immediately act, and because of his advanced consciousness, of course, Jamadagni instructed, and he followed, and he got the benefit of acting on that platform. This one time, one devotee who was very attached to one service in the temple, and his authorities that told him that, we don't want you to do this service, we want you to do something else. And this devotee was so attached to this service, but obviously the leaders did not want him to do the service. So he was not very happy and he was not satisfied, and he was thinking maybe like I should change my circumstances, maybe I should try different things. So he went to, Radhanath Maharaj was visiting the place, and so he went to Maharaj and he asked him that, I really want to do this service, but my leaders just won't allow me. And so Radhanath Maharaj said something very interesting. He said, if you want to do that service, but your leaders, your mentors, your guru don't want you to do that service, he said, even if you do that service, you get no benefit from doing it. Zero. No benefit. But, he said, if you give up that service, if you let go of that service, to do what your authorities, what your leaders want you to do, then you get the benefit of doing that service, which you just gave up. So, so we can be very attached and we can be very limited in our what we think is actually going to help us make progress. But actually what helps us make progress is following the instructions and the guidance. So it's a great Vaishnava culture, and it's a great quality, and it comes after a long time. For many devotees, it can take months, years, decades. One devotee was mentioning it can take lifetimes to develop this quality of being able to listen to your seniors, to your gurus, find out what they actually want you to do, and then you do it without any grudges. So that quality is so elevated that it can take lifetimes to develop. So it's very important. This is a very good reminder that we try and cultivate this quality to the best of our ability. And I remember I was distributing books, and I was actually distributing books with Bhrigupati Prabhu, and Prabhupada, and he's an amazing distributor. He's been distributing for last 54 years, almost every day. And even now, like, he aims for like 100 Bhagavad Gitas on the street every day. And he's just like an incredible, empowered personality. And so anyways, I was distributing books with him, and he was and he told me like what I need to do to distribute books. And for me, I'm like, yeah, I know how to distribute books. I've been distributing for many years, and I know what the techniques are and how to stop people, and so I didn't quite take seriously everything that he told. I talked like what I thought was right. And then he hammered me for 1 hour, non-stop. He said, I'm telling you what needs to be done. He said, it works. He said, I have done it. It works. Prabhupada has done it. It works. He told us to do that. He said, we are all doing it. It's working. What's your problem? Why you don't want to do it? He said, just listen. He said, just follow. I said, Prabhupada is like, because he was mentioning how in the book distribution, the first thing that you do is that you compliment the person. He said, the first thing you do is compliment the person. Yeah, everything comes after that. I said, but Prabhu, like, this complimenting the person, it just doesn't come naturally to me. Like, I feel like a little bit like I'm lying. And then he gave me a whole, like, an hour long, like, listen, Prabhupada complimented people. It's bona fide. He told us to compliment people because it's important. I compliment people because it works. And I'm telling you to do it. What's your problem? So just listen and just follow. Just compliment people. And you see how it works for you. And I say, like, yes, Prabhu, but I still had that hesitation. Like I'm saying, yeah, but it's difficult, because it's not natural for me and I'm so conditioned to doing it the way I've always done. He says, listen. He says, you go there and you just do it because I'm telling you to do it. He says, just do this. He says, just do it like completely, like even if you're not slightly interested, just go and just do it. And when you do it, and when you see that it works, then you will develop faith in it. Then you will develop confidence in yourself, and then it will be easier for you to do it in future. But for now, I want you to do it because I'm asking you to do it. He said, just listen and just do this. Everything else will follow later. So, I said, okay. So he drilled me for 1 hour straight. But more than learning the technique was of course, his kindness, that he saw that this is important, this is required, and that he needs to listen. So it's a very good quality. It's a very good quality. Sometimes we think, I can't do this. It's not natural for me, but I can do this. I would like to do that. But if we can develop the humility to find out first of all what actually our mentors, our teachers, our leaders, our gurus, what they actually want us to do, and then follow that. And then everything follows after that. So even in this case, in the case of Parshuram here, he's very intelligent. And this is a sign of intelligence, is to not use your own intelligence, but actually follow the intelligence and the instructions of the authorities. So here, he's finding out what his father wants, and without thinking what he thinks might be the best thing to do, he just follows the instruction, knowing that his father is extremely powerful, and that if he follows that right now, that's the most safe thing to do. And then he had a plan that once I follow his instruction, once he's happy, then I'll ask for the benediction to bring these family members back to life and help them forget the whole incident. So in that way, he will kind of revive the whole situation. But in the beginning, he just followed the instruction, and that was the best thing to do. So Prabhupada would give the example of how there are 3 kinds of glasses. There's the glass which is completely non-transparent, semi-transparent, and completely transparent. And so in the same way, the devotees that we take guidance from are preferred to be fully transparent. So we take guidance from devotees, we take instructions from devotees who are fully following their spiritual masters and are fully following the process of Krishna consciousness. So as devotees, we are not blind in just taking instruction from anyone who is senior, but taking instructions from devotees who are mature in the Krishna consciousness and who are mature enough to guide us. So, of many different temples around the world, it's quite fortunate for us here in Melbourne that we have this wealth of devotees who are very well situated, and that they're kind enough to give us the guidance. They're not some kind of recluse staying and hiding somewhere in the ashram in the corner, or somewhere in like these far out places. Like they are really available, and they're very, very kind to anyone who sincerely seeks guidance from them. They're always available. So it's a very fortunate situation that we have here, and it's really very rare. So I think it's really up to us to how much we follow the instructions, and in that way we become from 4th class to 3rd class to at least try and come to the 2nd class by the end of this life. That's a great accomplishment. So with this, we'll finish. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and if there is any corrections, any comments, or any questions. Yes, Bob.
You mentioned about intelligence, that the intelligence is to use your intelligence in forming that higher intelligence, in that context. I've heard from one of the lectures, that Prabhupada wanted his disciples to use the intelligence in service. So when you are at least cross-checking for that story, so you have some different idea. Is it not humility still? That your intention is both sides to be for you to do it in a better way.
Yeah. This is good to ask. It's good for... So the question is... Yeah. Here you have your managerial spiritual authorities, and they give you certain instruction, and then if you're asking for clarification, is it lack of humility? Well, there's a time and place for everything. So there's a time and place where we can ask for clarification, and surely the devotees are happy to clarify things for us to some extent. One time, it's very humbling, but there's one time I did something very stupid, and the devotee who was that I acted very irresponsibly, and the devotee told me, because I went to ask for clarification, he asked me that you are so foolish. He said, you are so foolish. He said, even if I clarify to you what was the actual problem, he said, you will think that I am less intelligent. So right now, you cannot understand. You just do what is required. So later on, we will talk. So that was it was very was very clear. So I was just not in the position where I could understand why he's asking me to do what he's asking me to do. So yes, I had to do it, and I had to wait off for some time. So I had at least that humility to just follow, and later things got clarified. But sometimes there can be discussion, and there can be clarification of services and one's personal situation, one's sadhana situation, service situation, health situations. So sometimes there's time and place, and we can clarify things. There's nothing wrong in it. But we have to see, based on who is the person, what is the instruction, and how quickly does it need to get executed, based on that. Is it okay? It's a very generic question, it's a very generic answer. Yeah. But, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Prabhu, you were talking about guidance. I would like to ask, can somebody act like a guru without actually initiating somebody? In the sense, I accept somebody as my guru and follow his instructions. And when I am able to follow all his instructions, take initiation.
If I'm able to follow all instructions,
And when I'm able to follow all his instructions, take initiation.
take initiation. if you can take initiation from him. Okay, so the question is, I'll try and repeat, that if a devotee is taking guidance from a senior Vaishnava who is not an initiating guru, so if one continues to take the guidance and follow the instructions, and if one follows all the instructions properly, does that mean that that person is qualified to then take initiation? Yeah, that's a very high quality disciple who is taking guidance and instructions from devotee. So as we understand through many of the Shastric courses that we have, that there are two kinds of gurus, the Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru. And in some ways, the position of Shiksha Guru is more important than Diksha Guru, because Diksha Guru is not always going to be with you, and he doesn't always understand your situation. And so there are many times when I went to my Diksha Guru and I asked, okay, what do you want me to do? What will please you? How can I serve you? And his instruction was to serve the local authorities. You have many Shiksha Gurus, and you follow them, and you follow the instructions. And if you just follow the instructions, and if you're doing everything that's required that will make them happy, then I'm happy. So the way to please Diksha Guru is to please your Shiksha Gurus. And so if you continue to serve Shiksha Gurus, yeah, there can be some situations where your Shiksha Guru and your Diksha Guru is the same, and great. But otherwise, you just continue to follow your Shiksha Guru. And by doing that, you are actually following your Diksha Guru. Hopefully that answers Sivya's question. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. So the question is that we're supposed to follow the instructions, then how do we know if it's not becoming a blind following? And we explained about how Prabhupada following his spiritual master and following that. So do we follow the same enthusiasm? And how do we know if it's not blind following? Yeah. So it requires common sense, in short, to know whom you're taking guidance from, whom you're taking your instructions from. So it requires a certain amount of common sense to know who is the person that you should be taking guidance and who is the person you should not be taking guidance. But if a devotee is sincere, then eventually Krishna from within the heart reveals. So Krishna is personally and directly involved. So, Brahmanda Brahmita Kono Bhagivad Jiv Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. So, one can be wondering, following many unqualified teachers and gurus, until finally, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti. So, one who is sincere, then Krishna provides the qualified guru, qualified teacher, who can act as a Vatma Pradakshika Guru, who can act as a Shiksha Guru, who can act as a Diksha Guru, and help navigate the devotee to the ultimate goal. Is that okay? What about Parshuram? here it's explained that Parshuram, knowing the power of his father, followed the instruction. As devotees, we understand the qualification of the seniors that we're taking guidance from, and we follow the instructions accordingly. So here, Parshuram knew the qualification of his father. He was a highly qualified person. And says, okay, even though it doesn't sound right, it's difficult, it's complicated, I'm just going to follow the instruction because my father is a very highly qualified person. And later on, he's thinking already, he's thinking ahead. Like later on, I can try and do this. So there's nothing wrong in us using our intelligence to plan, but not at the cost of following the instruction or ignoring the instruction. Not at the cost of ignoring the instruction. So he had a plan, but at the same time he followed the instruction exactly how it's requested. Because Parshuram knew the qualification of his father, was very, very advanced in Krishna consciousness. Okay. Thank you. Granth Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna, Krishna.
Vandeham
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bhāgavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Bhagom Ikamaniya Vishesha Shobham
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasa Sakalem Dvija Vriti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Gaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Vandeham Shri Guru
Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsham Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Tvam Sajivam Shadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhantam Shtam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna